The first time Kaitlan Collins set foot inside the White House briefing room, she was utterly enthralled. As she stood in the back and watched Josh Earnest call on reporters and answer their questions over the course of an hour, she found herself fantasizing of the days when she would be among them, raising her hand from the first row. In January 2017, Collins's dreams became reality when the Daily Caller named her White House correspondent following her coverage of the 2016 presidential campaign for the site. But the White House she was now in was nothing like the one she'd glimpsed just a year earlier, and as Sean Spicer stepped down from the lectern for the first time, it was obvious that chaos was afoot. I think the people who explained the craziness best to me were not other correspondents or reporters but were photojournalists, who had covered multiple presidencies, Collins recalls. I remember being at the Trump White House in the early days, and one of them was like, "This just doesn't happen. The pool doesn't get called at the last minute to go to the Oval Office to hear from the president, where he takes 10 questions and makes so much news that you don't even know where to start when you go to report it." As the rest of the country adapted to Trump's large-scale changes, like a sweeping travel ban and repealing the Affordable Care Act, the rookie reporter and her colleagues were facing more localized shifts within the White House, from the logistics of his briefings to the way he spoke to and about the press. Despite the unexpected circumstances of her new job, however, Collins rose to the challenge, even as other journalists shied away from it. I think one of the key aspects of being a good reporter, apart from knowing where the story is and what the news is knowing where your skills are best fit, and for me, that was Trump, she says. I never even thought about not covering every minute of him. But doing so, she knew, would be no walk in the park. People who worked in the Trump White House were incredibly manipulative and would straight up lie to you, so you had to filter through that, she explains. Then there were the personal attacks, where it wasn't just the standard fare of an administration thinking they hadn't been treated fairly, and it got incredibly personal, which, in my opinion, it never should. While others were turned off or exhausted by Trump and the new normal of the White House, though, Collins was convinced it was the best story in town and knew from day one that she couldn't walk away from it. Soon enough, her dedication to her work caught the eye of CNN, and she was invited on the network on several occasions. Obviously, the Daily Caller is a more ideologically aligned organization than CNN, which is worldwide and has such a range of coverage, Collins says of the right-wing news site founded by Tucker Carlson.